have watched you.
When I think of the sword and sorcery genre, the first thing that comes to mind is the Conan lore and the Conan the Barbarian movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. I guess it is the same for anyone who has grown up through the 80s, and I still remember the haunting ending to this great action film. An old man sitting on a heavy throne with the weight of the world resting on his hand. It was the promise of a whole new story in a gripping sequel. However, even after 40 years, the story remains untold, even though there have been multiple attempts to get it made. From the King Conan script that was finished and ready to go, to the Robert Rodriguez trilogy that Netflix rejected, and the chaotic rights limbo that even the mighty Schwarzenegger couldn't get through, the film never really happened. In this video, I will dig deep into the current situation and bring you everything there is to know about the status of the movie at the moment. I don't know how many of you know this, but King Conan was almost a certainty at one point. The project had a real producer and a finished script that went through quite a few hands at Universal. This script was written by Will Beall, known for Aquaman and Gangster Squad, and Chris Morgan was the producer, whom you might know from the Fast and Furious franchise. The goal was to show a Conan who had been king for decades, and this version of Conan was bored without the conquests and adventures. Beall even spoke about an engaging opening scene. It opens with his hand on chin. It's where you have to. It's the sequel that we were promised. There would be conspiracies to overthrow him, and Conan still had loads of action and violence, as it was supposed to be a rated R movie. The makers had planned to ignore the events of Conan the Destroyer or even the Jason Momoa reboot in 2011, and I was definitely in favor of the whole idea. In fact, I loved how the creative team described it as Conan's Unforgiven. Think about Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven. An aging gunfighter who left his violent past behind, forced to pick up the weapon one last time because the world has become too ugly to ignore. While this never materialized into something concrete, the fate of the much-talked-about Amazon series also went in a similar direction after Amazon killed the project when they bought the rights to Lord of the Rings. For them, there was no space for two expensive fantasy shows competing with each other. As for Arnold Schwarzenegger himself, Conan has always been a great passion project for him, but the whole rights complexities frustrated him to no end. He did not mince words during an interview where he expressed his disappointment with the pending project. He spoke about how Frederick Malmberg, who owns the rights, approached him saying, "Oh, I have a deal with Netflix." But that wasn't really the case when Arnold's team checked on it. The rights holders apparently held out for a premium deal, and it proved to be fatal for the Universal movie. Later, even Netflix canceled the whole deal, and all the news around Netflix developing a Conan series went cold turkey. Robert Rodriguez even pitched a Conan trilogy to Netflix, and I think he would have done justice to the works of Robert E. Howard. But it just wasn't meant to be. You probably remember the exciting headlines, Conan series in development at Netflix, but that's what it remained, an intriguing news piece. So, keeping all the failed attempts aside, let us quickly check out all the prospects for an upcoming Conan movie at the moment. The most that is happening around Conan right now is in the comic book department, and Titan Comics and Heroic Signatures, which are the publishing arms of the rights holders, are running a major comic book event so that the IP is kept alive and in public memory. However, there are some buzzing insider theories about the Old Man Conan pivot. According to the gist of these theories, with the theatrical market becoming volatile, the only way King Conan gets made is as a streaming exclusive, a big project announced for a platform like Amazon Prime or Apple TV+. So, theories aside, the current state of the Conan movie is not exactly certain. King Conan does not have a steady home yet. The only good news is that the script is ready and the star is supposedly ready. However, what is also concerning is the reality that Arnold Schwarzenegger is not getting any younger. The one director who would have been the perfect fit with his trilogy idea has been turned away, and now the roadblock is just where it used to be a decade ago. I think the solution lies with the rights holders, who must make a call before it is too late. They have to decide whether a hypothetical mega deal is worth more to them than a real movie, and until they can get their act together, the project will remain in a coma. I take a lot of assurance from the fact that Hollywood doesn't keep IP and rights issues in the dead for too long. The rights are now back on the market, and we have already found out from the Deadpool and Logan movies that the audiences will always show up for an older hero if the story is right and the action is entertaining. As of now, Conan feels like a distant dream, but maybe with the right minds involved, we might just get the much-needed sequel in a few years. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this situation, and also share your honest feedback on where you see the future of the franchise a few years down the line.